I'm going to show you some film of people walking the streets of Manhattan, he said, and I want you to look for what these people have in common. Feet, shoes, legs, pants, shirts, blouses, skirts, arms, purses, briefcases, umbrellas, heads, hats, hard hats, faces, smiles. Smiles? Why should people on New York streets be smiling? They were happy in the midst of urban crisis on the streets of a city that many thought was going under. Of course, there were other people on the streets without smiles, maybe even scowling. But when we think of cities and the people in them, we have been too much inclined to forget the smile altogether. There are happy people in cities. There are healthy places that people like in cities. Places that contribute to happiness. Places that can bring out the smile. Fascinated us most is the behavior of ordinary people on city streets. Their rituals in street encounters, for example, the regulatory of chance meetings, the tendency to reciprocal gestures in street conferences, the rhythms of the three-phase goodbye. By the time the full book is finished, I am sure I will have figured out much more significance to all this, but not quite yet. There is one part of our work, however, which does have immediate applicability. Our study of spaces that work, don't work, and the reasons why. The most used places also tend to have a higher than average proportion of women. Women are more discriminating than men as to where they will sit, more sensitive to annoyances, and women spend more time casting the various possibilities. If a plaza has a markedly lower than average proportion of women, something is wrong. Where there is a higher than average proportion of women, the plaza is probably a good one and has been chosen as such. Men show a tendency to take the front row seats, and if there is a kind of gate, men will be the guardians of it. Women tend to favor places slightly secluded. If there are double-sided benches parallel to a street, the inner side will usually have a high proportion of women, the outer of men. Generally, the watchers line up quite close together in groups of 3 to 5. If they are construction workers, they will be very demonstrative, much given to whistling, laughing, and direct salutations. It is all machismo. Not once have we ever seen a girl watcher pick up a girl or ever attempt to. Ideally, sitting should be physically comfortable. Benches with backrest, well-contoured chairs. It's more important, however, that it be socially comfortable. This means choice, sitting up front, in back, to the side, in the sun, in the shade, in groups, off alone. Choice should be built into the basic design. Now a wonderful invention, the movable chair. Having a back, it is comfortable, more so if it has an armrest as well. But the big asset is movability. Chairs enlarge choice. To move into the sun, out of it, to make room for groups, move away from them. The possibility of choice is as important as the exercise of it. If you know you can move if you want to, you feel more comfortable staying put. This is why perhaps people so often move a chair a few inches this way and that before sitting in it, with the chair ending up about where it was in the first place. The moves are functional, however. They are a declaration of autonomy to oneself and rather satisfying. Small moves say things to other people. If a newcomer chooses a chair next to a couple or a larger group, he may take some intricate moves. Again, he may not take the chair very far, but he conveys a message. Sorry about the closeness, but there's no room elsewhere, and I'm going to respect your privacy as you will mine. A reciprocal move by one of the others may follow. Watching these exercises in civility is itself one of the pleasures of a good place. out up to 200 movable chairs, and it leaves them out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The Met figured that it might be less expensive to trust people and to buy replacements periodically rather than have guards gather the chairs in every night. I haven't calculated a smile index, but this vicarious secondary enjoyment is extremely important. The sight of the park, the knowledge that it is there, becomes part of the image we have of a much wider area. If one had to make a cost-benefit study, I think it would show that secondary use provides as much, if not more, benefit than the primary use. If one could put a monetary value on a minute of visual enjoyment and multiply that by instances day after day, year after year, one would obtain a rather stupendous sum.